The Celtic Unrestricted View is sponsored by AB Entertainment. It's a DJ and entertainment business. And we are also partnered by MCM Framing Services and Hoops Memorabilia. Both our sponsor and our partner are on social media and can be found on Facebook or Instagram. So feel free, guys, to check them out as they offer fantastic services, and enjoy the upcoming episode. Hail, hail. Yes, good evening, and we're back with a Celtic Unrestricted View. It's myself, JP. Joining me tonight, my two good men, Mr. Ryan Clifford and Mr. Alan Stirling. Well, lads, it's been another eventful weekend in the Scottish Premier League. Celtic have to fight in order to get a victory up in Dingwall. But first, before we get to all that jazz, hope the both of you are well. You are still smiling, which means Celtic have won again. Ryan, it's good to see you, mate, and hope you had a nice weekend, pal.
It's -5, mate. The hoodie's back on now, getting chilly. First off, it was definitely -5 in my house, I'll tell you that. But like you says, mate, no every game's going to be pretty. Obviously, we'll touch into that as the podcast goes on, but 3 points after a humiliating disaster defeat in Dortmund, and then you go and get the 3 points. Obviously, people might have expected it 1-0 down. You would maybe not come back to that, but we're kind of different in terms of the other side of the city. We've got a wee bit about us, I think. Obviously, we'll touch into things of the game, but overall, makes the 3 points is the most important thing after a pretty damaging week for the club, in my opinion. But overall, I'm good. It is a bit nippy, it's getting cold, so the heating's been on, mate. So, but I'm all good and hope you are well as well. And a good weekend as well.
Yeah, Alan, how you doing, mate? It's good to see you again, pal.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone in the chat's well. Aye, it wasn't the best to watch at the weekend, but as Ryan says, the 3 points or the paramount party were game. Obviously a league game. I think at half time I was on my way to Costco to get a kind of bulk pack of Domestos for myself and Ryan, because that was pretty dreadful to say the least. But as we say, we have.
You think that was for yesterday or was that for Tuesday?
Sorry.
Was that for yesterday or for Tuesday?
For the Skelter one for Tuesday, mate. That was a 24-pack and all, so that's already done. We're Domestos' best customer this week so far, but gladly that's not been the case throughout kind of the start of the season. We have kind of set quite a high bar. We have kind of played extremely well, and I think probably this international break's coming at the perfect time, because it is 3 points. We are going to get these kind of games, but yeah, probably the less said about that game at the weekend, the better. We get 3 points down the road and we move on.
Yeah, obviously, Tuesday, well, obviously I gave my thoughts on Tuesday and Friday when I was on. That's gone now, in my opinion. We're moving on now to what's lying ahead is. Ryan, I think my feeling is on the last maybe 8 days for us has, you've got to look at the bigger picture, mate, in my opinion. I think there's been a lot of travelling involved there. We're away up to Perth Saturday, good win. Then there's a quick turnover for that. We've got to travel to Germany to take on the Champions League finalists last season. We get absolutely thumped right out of our comfort zone in many different ways. It was a sobering experience for all us fans. And then you've got to come back to Germany, pick yourselves up again, and for a 12 o'clock kick-off, mate, you've got to go up to Dingwall and, do it again. And like you says, the first half wasn't pretty. Didn't have to be, but it wasn't pretty. But you've got to be thrilled, man, with the second half especially. For me, it was a game of two halves yesterday, and I think the subs make a great impression, and, they come on and they basically do what Brendan brought them on for. They change the game, and it, fortunately for us, they change it in our way.
Obviously, Dortmund, I'm not going to sit and talk about too much about it. We've all said our piece personally and on social media, and the club's been through that. But what I will say is, for me, it was embarrassing, it was humiliating, it was damaging in the club. I did say he's on the podcast. I know I did say we'd beat 2-1, but in my head, I didn't think we would get anywhere near Dortmund during the week. In terms of a victory, I was. If we get a victory, I'd have been pleasantly surprised. I did expect a defeat, but not in that manner. I think it was a manner of the defeat was probably the damaging thing. It wasn't that Dortmund. Listen, Dortmund were fantastic, but we made it so easy for them, and that was the thing that really it didn't sit well with me. It was silly mistakes that these guys don't do on a weekly basis. But for some reason, I know we beat Bratislava, but for some reason, when we go and play these bigger teams away from home, I don't know what it is. We just stop doing the basics, and that's what I don't understand that, because it can't be pressure, because you're playing in front of Celtic Park every week under pressure, and you're playing away from home under pressure. So I don't know the reason why it was so damaging for us, but for me, it was. I would agree with you, mate. It was quite sobering. I didn't expect that much. Beaten, but I didn't expect to get beaten. But maybe a wee reality check that maybe just because we play well in Scotland, that it doesn't really mean that we're then ready to go and challenge some of these bigger teams. And I will say, I know a thing about the manager. I'm no a manager. Never have been. I never will be. But I'm never ever going to question a manager, that intelligence, or that CV and what he's done. But he can't stick with that, because we're going to get more drubbings if that's the way that he's going to go down. He's got to take away maybe his philosophy and his ego in some part and do what's best for us getting results, because football's about results. And then you go into the game yesterday, first half wasn't great, and I've seen a lot of social media this is terrible and this is that. The fans expect this to be 4-5-0 every single game. You've got no divine right to win football games. On paper, it looks good, and on paper we should be maybe winning with a few goals. Maybe some games, maybe against the lower teams, maybe we should on paper. But you don't win games on paper. You win games on the park. And
I think that's what it's just sorry to cut in, Ryan,
but
see if we would have won Bratislava, if we won 5-1 and then that result and performance happened against Ross County, I think it's a combination of things. Embarrassment Tuesday, and then it leads on to that kind of dreadful performance at the weekend. So it's a combination of things that's getting people kind of a wee bit
I agree with you, mate. I would say because obviously the result, and then maybe the fans were expecting a big reaction right away. And got to remember as well, lads, I'm not going to really criticise the team. I'm not going to really criticise. I'm not going to really criticise the team for yesterday, JP, because they've won the game. It's a hard game got to Dingwall. That mob across the water, if you want to call it a title challenge, but they were near it because of that last year. They slipped up last year away from home when they had to win. So footballers, I've always obviously last season, right? The reason why I was getting involved in a wee bit about the performances is because we were only winning every week for a few weeks, and it was quite hard to watch. But I'll take no playing well and winning as long as you win the game. I'll take it. Playing fancy football and getting beat 2-1 or 3-1. As much as we want to entertain the football, that's what football's about. It's about entertaining and skills and scoring amazing goals. But the full thing about football is It's winning. But it was about winning games and results. It's not about, it's about pretty football, but play pretty football you want, but you might not win league trophies or cups or anything else. So that's what's big about me, the game yesterday, JP and Alan. It's first half, first half was awful. Let's no bones about it. The first half was awful. Engels was well off it. Ida was well off it. Wingers off it. Everybody was off it. But the second half, like you say, JP, the subs came on, made a big difference. And that's what the squad's there for. That's what the subs there for. I thought Valle was impressive when he played as well. Going forward, looks very good technically. Maybe for the penalty, he was out of position. That's maybe the only thing that I would give him a wee bit of criticism for the game yesterday. But listen, like you says, mate, Alan as well, mate, I think overall you've got to be happy with getting up the Dingwall, scoring obviously late on to get the victory. It's all about the 3 points, Alan. The first half, it's no great, but you've went won the game, so you can't be too critical, in my opinion, Alan.
Yeah. I think it's probably because of how high we've set the bar this season. I think we've been playing absolutely outstanding levels of football. Our performance levels have been, we've even spoke about it, it's probably some of the best football we've seen Celtic play in a number of years. So for us to go for that level to what we've seen during the week, which, as Ryan says, we don't want to kind of get too hung up about it, but it was pretty embarrassing, a sobering kind of performance and result. But to get into that game at the weekend, the first half, it was lacking everything. It was lacking intensity. It was lacking kind of putting passes together as well, which we've been doing so well throughout the start of the season. It was so disjointed. It was just everything that the opposite of what we've seen so far this season. And I think that's what got everybody to that point.
Do you think that was Ross County's setup though, Al, that kind of forced us into that sort of shape?
No, full respect to Ross County, but I don't think that's been the case. There's a lot of other teams that have set up that kind of formation and that manner towards us this in the start of the season, and we've still been able to kind of play through them like a knife through butter. But there was a lot of parts of the game. I think you're looking at Engels, right? You can give people, the players are human beings, right? They can have kind of off days, but it just looked as if kind of mostly every player there had a big off day. It was like a domino effect. You're looking at, Ryan says about Ida as well. I says to you boys yesterday, we need to start seeing proper performances when we put that amount of money in Ida. You've seen the difference when Kyogo come on. He's got that movement that dragged the defenders everywhere and made the space for us to kind of open up. We didn't really threaten Ross County at all for probably maybe 70 minutes, I'd say. There wasn't much at all that we had threatening kind of goal opportunities, you would say. And for that price tag, Ida has to do a lot more than he's showing at present. That was quite a worrying performance. And Kyogo comes on, and you were looking at yesterday, right? That's one of Ida's only chances to come in and start for the beginning. You're looking for him to kind of take that opportunity, go, this is my opportunity to kind of grasp this, to make an impact. And he didn't. But then you look at the second half and you look at kind of guys like McCown that's got a wee bit of minutes, and he's come on and he's grasped that opportunity. He's went, right, I'm getting this half an hour, whatever that may be. I'm going to make an impact here. I'm going to make sure the manager knows.
I agree with you, Alan. I agree with you, sorry, Tommy. I agree with you, right? I agree with you, but the only thing I'm going to give you there a wee bit of slackness on it was he getting no service, he getting no ball in the box. The wingers were well off it, and also that's why, like you were saying, JP, Ross County were smart. I did say it earlier during the game. They were letting us play through the middle. No, they were letting us no play through the middle. They stopped us playing through the middle. They let us get the ball wide and thought, you know what? Give your best shot and we'll deal with it. And they dealt with it until the second half. But I agree with you, Alan, but the only thing I'll give him a wee tiny slackness was there was no service, but again, maybe that was due to lack of movement. Who knows? But I know, I agree with you, Alan.
Yeah, 100%. We've got our first caller in the evening, and it is a man himself, Mr. Francis Lester. Evening, Francis. How are we?
Evening, lads. How are you? I'm good.
Not bad, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm excellent. We won.
Yeah,
We won.
100%.
You
Hope
know.
you've had a nice weekend, mate.
Yeah, I've been really, really busy work-wise, but had a good weekend as well, watching the game. Just going back on what you said there about the game yesterday, I always felt, well, if you remember last week, I said I'd be really happy if we managed to get a draw at Dortmund. I had said I was waiting for a result. Like I don't know why, I just felt that was coming, because I just don't think our defence is built to cope with an attack like that just now. I just don't think, but especially with CCV being out, so I wasn't actually surprised, to tell you the truth. And coming back, the travel, as you mentioned, the travelling, and then getting up to that place, it's such a tight little park, and they sit with the majority of their team in their own 18-yard box. It's really hard to break them down, but you also need every single player on the park to be at it, like Ryan said earlier. And first half, there was Maeda was terrible, Johnson was terrible. I thought like you said, Ida never really got any service in the first half because the balls weren't coming in. Even Kuhn was getting shut down, but because they're sitting with basically 10 men in their penalty box, and it's really hard to break that down in a small part like that. Engels, I thought, was very poor. I don't know. I noticed really early. I don't know if you noticed it yourselves, guys, but I was looking. Every time the camera went on him, it looked as if his face was tripping him, and he was really kind of. I don't know. There was something about him. I said, that boy doesn't look as if he's really enjoying this at all today, and he hardly kicked a ball.
Francis, do you think that's because, one or two passes go astray early doors and you think, Tuesday night's already happened to him, so he's probably thinking to himself, don't tell me we're in for another one of these bad games, and quite quickly could grip a hold of you. And obviously, that didn't happen. I know, because Ross County don't have the quality Dortmund have, and I'm not being disrespectful when I say that, but maybe that was in his head. Maybe, that was his thought process going through that motion.
Possibly, yeah. But you're thinking, and I know the fee has nothing to do with him, but you would think the quality of player that he is already, even at the young age he's at, he would still be able to cope with a game against Ross County. Let's be honest. I thought he was poor. I thought at the second half, the biggest point I was going to make tonight coming on was young Luke McCowan. For me, I think he's a future Celtic captain. I might be early saying that, but I love the look of this boy. I thought he was really composed in everything he done. Every ball he took down, he looked like a young Callum McGregor to me. I thought he was absolutely superb when he came on. And I thought Bernardo, again, stepped back up again, because I thought he was poor in Dortmund, but he stepped right back up to the mark. And I like that about a player that maybe has a bad game like that, but comes into a game where we're trailing and really puts in the effort to win the ball back, and and play it the way he played it. I thought we played a lot better. Even James Forrest coming on as well, I thought made a difference as well, because Maeda, again yesterday, he'll always run. He'll run till he drops that boy, but he just wasn't his final ball, and was terrible yesterday. He was. I think that part's too small for him, to tell you the truth. Because with him sitting really deep, he's not really got a lot of space to run into. And I don't think the wee small part suits his game. Same with Kyogo. I thought Kyogo, when Kyogo come on, his movement again was brilliant. I mean, he never really had any great chances in, but you've seen some of the movement. He was pulling their defenders away all over the place. And Kuhn, in the first half, I thought, he's not really at the races, but the second half, he just came right onto a game. I thought he was brilliant in the second half. But these places are really hard to go to any day. When was the last time we went up there and won 4 or 5-0?
There's been a lot of close games. You look at the one at Angie's first season, the Anthony Ralston late night winner.
7 minutes into 7 minutes.
He scored in the 9th minute into 6 minutes added on. That was quite good that night, by the way. But
Ryan, that night.
Aye, you let Ryan at half time.
I nearly went on his show. Then realised what age I am, and I said, "Oh no,
I better calm down. Better stick that house coat back on there.
I might pull a muscle. No, the right one."
Sure, there's a few in the chat. You'll be getting excited now. Don't worry about that. But Ryan, obviously touching on Francis's point there about Luke McCown.
Yeah.
listen, I don't think we're surprised. We've spoken about him at length, you and I, and Alan obviously as well, and we've all said that the boy looks comfortable. People were questioning, massive step up. He's played well at United, he was at Dundee, coming into Celtic. But the boy looks as if he's been there for years. He's just, I know as William says on the podcast on Tuesday last week, so just slides in like a glove, but it kind of does, you know. For me, he just looks, he looks like he's been there a long time. He kind of plays the way, you know, the way he's similar to McGregor. He looks for that pass. He can dink it over the top. He can play around the sides. He's good with the ball. His feet has a great touch to. I know people are moaning and saying that they don't think it was a foul, right? And even I've heard Celtic fans say this, but the boy does catch him. Whether that's enough to give the foul, but the ref gave the foul. But for me, it's a foul because he loses the ball straight after the boy impedes him a wee bit and knocks him off his balance. But what a touch it was, a great first touch to kill the ball and look up and away we go. And to touch on what Francis says, in terms of being a captain and stuff, I know it's early days, but the lad certainly has the minerals to carry the jersey, mate.
He's definitely no longer out of place, I'll tell you that. Some guys have came to Celtic and they've took a long time to get into the team, or they've never even really come into the team. They've sat on the bench like home. When home comes in, he does okay, but you've never really thought about home coming in and really cement his place. If McKibben played against Aberdeen at home, would you really be upset? No, because you know he'll do a job for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think, obviously, European level, we've still to really see him, so we can't comment on that. But to be fair, the majority of our teams so far, in terms of the big teams, when it gets against the big teams, they don't do it either. So it's not really on McKibben. But no, listen, the footy boy done well. Any game he's played for us, he's done well in his debut against them across the water, and Derby game as well. So listen, I think the boy will have a good career at Celtic. I think he'll play a lot more than some fans think. I think he'll either be off the bench all the time, or he'll start the odd game as well. So I think the boy will have a good career at Celtic. Whether or no he'll be captain, or whether or no he'll be a definite starter of the week, who knows? It's down to the boy himself. But I do think, for me, he'll be a massive part of the squad this season anyway, yeah.
Alan, obviously, your thoughts on Luke McCown and Francis's point there?
Yeah, he's we've not got a great amount of time we've seen him so far to judge him over a longer period. That's what I've been looking at. But everything he's done when he's come in, it's been good. It's been very good. I think he came on at the weekend there, did everything correctly, added a bit of intensity to our play. His touches were very nice. So there's nothing we can really say bad about Luke McCown at present. Every time he's been asked to come on by Brendan or play any minutes, he's done a very good job. Whether we'll see that over a longer period, whether he gets a start in our next games or such, so with Brendan it could make that choice. Obviously we're kind of bloated a lot in the midfield position. There is players that we have paid kind of significantly more money for. So that's up to Brendan, but by the looks of it just now, Luke McCown's doing everything in his power. He kind of show the manager that he's capable. He kind of coming in there and starting games. I wouldn't be against him starting any games, because at the minute, as I say, he looks as if he's done everything that in his power to show the manager that he's capable. He kind of playing at that level. So it's very positive for us to have a squad player and somebody on the bench that's pushing that much, that he's shown he's playing better than other players at the weekend that are starting. So that's very positive overall in regards to Luke McCown. Not so sure about the captain. I know what Francis is saying, but he's not that much younger than I think we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago actually. When we were talking about it, he's not that much younger than Callum McGregor, and we spoke about maybe Celtic bringing through a player that will come through maybe the youth ranks, or we bring in a young player that Callum can start kind of teaching how to be a Celtic captain. So it could well happen, but at the minute I would like to see kind of Luke McCown get a bit more playing time and see how he kind of progresses for that point.
Yeah, Francis, obviously the take on yesterday, I mean, the first half was poor. Actually, spoke to one of my other mates about this, and I said yesterday, especially domestically, people are probably going to start flagging things at their telly if they're watching it on the telly now, but I don't really care. This is my own opinion. I think that a big miss for us yesterday was Greg Taylor coming in the field to help with the midfield as well and kind of give us that extra man and a wee bit of support. I felt as if there was a wee bit of gap. I know Vai's good with the ball. I just don't know if he's that man to continuously keep coming in the field and then know when to do it, especially domestically, because Greg Taylor, to me, seems as if he's got that, he's telepathic with it now. And I think that also helps Alistair Johnson because he kind of knows when to go, when to sit, when to change over when Greg Taylor's not inside the field. And for me, yesterday, I think, and especially domestically, the way Brendan plays, I think Greg Taylor's a bit of a weapon for us against these kind of teams because he's got that, he can play a very good pass as well, and he's got that kind of movement as well that kind of gives teams a double think on what they're going to do next.
Well, I mean, after his performance in Wednesday against Dortmund, Tuesday was it, against Dortmund, I think that's the reason he wasn't there yesterday.
He was injured as well, but it's not because he's because the full team wouldn't be there yesterday if that was the case, So, in my opinion, but he was injured. He did have an injury.
I thought he was howling on Wednesday. I couldn't just away.
Tell us how you really feel, Francis. Come on.
I do agree. Listen, I do agree. I do agree.
I thought he was horrendous as well.
There was no excuse for the way he gave the ball away that other night there because half of the time players weren't even near him when he gave it away. Just silly, stupid, unthought passes, and that riled me no end. You know what I mean? And that led to us partly getting gubbed.
Yeah.
I thought the boy Valley did well. I don't think he's really grasped the concept of being a left back yet, but because for me he wanders all over the park. I was noticing him, he was coming up and he was getting the ball and he was travelling across the park to the right hand side in that first half yesterday because I was watching it and talking to my son and I was saying, where's he going? He's running away for the left back position, going away at the right hand side, and if he loses the ball and they break down the right, there's nobody there, so I think but I think the boy's got a talent, but I think he really needs to hold his position. The same as Taylor. I don't think Taylor's problem is he's too wee for me. He's far too wee. The ball can get played over the top of him all the time. That's what the weakness I see in Greg Taylor's game. Going forward, he can be great. He can have a great assist. He can put a ball into the box, but he can't defend for toffee, unfortunately. And that's just my personal opinion. I just don't think he's the caliber needed, especially getting into Europe. I mean, I would be loath to start him against any of these bigger teams in Europe again.
I do agree with you in Europe. I think the lad Vai, when you look at the Dortmund game there, I think it was 4 Diags played to Greg Taylor in the first half, and it was a boy Adeyemi who picked up every single one of them. And then you look at the contrast of that when Greg Taylor comes off at half time, he's injured, so he comes off, Vai comes on. And then there's 4 Diags played again towards Vai, Francis, and he cuts out every one of them. And I think under the Duranville as well, the boy they brought on, sorry, when Adeyemi got injured, he's 1-on-1s with him in the duel. He toe pokes the ball away nearly every time Duranville tries to stand him up. So, yeah, I do think, certain games are suited, but I do agree with you in Vai. I think he switches off and he goes too high when he's not supposed to. And we had that with Bernabe. He's used to go wandering. I know, obviously, Vai is a lot better technically with the ball and he can handle the ball a bit better. But if you look at the penalty we got given against us yesterday, yes, it was a penalty, but Vai, again, is higher on the pitch than he probably should have been, and Scales has got to actually come out of position and get across to cover that area. So yeah, I do agree, mate. But personally, domestically, I just feel Greg Taylor's a big miss for the team, especially the way we play, and we've been so successful with him in the team for a long time now.
I agree. He's definitely good enough for Scotland and the teams against here, definitely. But definitely no in Europe, because he's just not got the pace and he's not got the height either. required.
I wouldn't be pinpointing Taylor's miss yet. Like, Taylor being missing yesterday is where my downfall was. I think Valle was a more than capable kind of replacement. I'd be pinpointing other parts of the pitch where we went wrong. I think our full intensity, the way we just kind of played overall through the midfield and the wings and up front, I think that was probably where we went wrong yesterday. I think there's a lot more to blame yesterday than missing Craig Taylor. Still get the win, so there's not much to blame. But if we're talking about how good we possibly can play, I don't think there was much discrepancy between how Valle played and how Taylor's capable of playing. I think that was pretty similar, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, but Francis, cheers again for coming on, mate, and giving us your points, mate. And
Cheers, Francis.
No problem, lads.
Cheers,
have a
mate.
good
Take
one,
care.
mate. Cheers, buddy. Thanks. Bye-bye, pal. Bye-bye.
See, on that, obviously, with Francis, Alan was saying there, I'm going to agree with you, Alan. I don't see any way Taylor was missing yesterday at all. I thought Valle was very good. Apart from the positional sense, maybe for the penalty, but I thought Valle was good against Dortmund. He was good against Ross County. If he plays against Aberdeen and continues, then Taylor's got obviously competition on now, because the boy, he's definitely a steady, able candidate, and he's going to get better. I think the thing with Valle is, because obviously with Barcelona, the way he's regimented, it's just attack. He's just attack, because they've got quality defenders that they can step in, and you've no disrespect to your defenders, but we've not got the capabilities as Barcelona. So he kind of goes gung-ho when he plays with us, and he will learn that inverted fullback thing. Eventually he'll get used to it. He's doing it every day in training. And what Francis has said there, I've said for years about Taylor in Europe. But now, because we've got beat off Dortmund, it's all come to light again about him playing in Europe. He's definitely good enough in Scotland, but when it gets to European level, that's what I've said to my old man John and whoever else. If we go in with Taylor in Europe, we're going to get punished. And I'm not going to say I was right in what I said, because it showed down that side. But no, listen, I agree with Francis about yourself as well, that Taylor in Scotland, JP, he's fine, but I think definitely
we've got our second caller waiting, lad, so I'm going to jump into that.
Aye, no worries.
We'll get a chat about this plans for finished later on. But yes, well, second caller's in. It's John M, and he's in to chat with us tonight. Good evening, John. How are we?
Good evening, lads.
How you doing?
How you
doing?
doing?
Yourselves?
Aye, yeah, fine. It's a nice wee talk there, Danny McGrengy, that.
Aye, I got that off of wee Danny about 3 days ago.
Brilliant, man. Brendan must have put him back into his civvies again when he got it.
Aye, definitely.
How's it going anyway, John? Okay.
Aye, all right. How are you, lads? All right?
Yeah, good.
Not bad, mate.
Still suffering for the hangover for midweek.
Just a wee bit.
Aye, just a wee bit. I think it's going to take us a wee bit to recover for that one, to be fair.
Can't look at another camera still
that one. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I never expected anything out the Dortmund game. I hoped for a draw, and I thought the way we've been playing recently, I thought we'll maybe get a draw. When they scored and then we scored right after that, I said, well, this is going to end up about 4 each. And how wrong was that? Because we just crumbled after the second goal. After the second goal went in, I thought Celtic just crumbled, and hence took an annihilation. You know what I mean?
I actually thought we were into something when we got the equaliser. I thought, here we go. Yes, we've woke up now. We've got a game in our hands here, and then all of a sudden it just went Pete Tonga for quickly.
Oh, very quickly. And I mean, when it got to 5-1 at half time, I honestly turned it over to the Arsenal game. I couldn't watch any more of it. It wasn't but the fact that I was angry or anything like that because of the result. It was just, I just hated watching, you know. I said this is going to end up maybe 9 or 10.
It could have been.
Could well have been. I think they took pity in us for the 7.
If it wasn't for Schmeichel, I think it could have been about at least 10.
Yeah, I agree.
But the saves he pulled off. But as regards the game yesterday, I thought, I mean, let's not forget, Celtic done a bit of travelling up to Perth and then out to Germany and then up to Dingwall. That any football player, in the space of time, you're going to suffer, like say, fatigue, stuff like that. I thought they were really lacklustre in the first half yesterday, but I never doubted them. Even when Scales gave away the penalty, and I never doubted Celtic yesterday at all. I always had that in the back of my mind. We'll get a result here. It's just maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just.
I love your faith, mate. I love your faith.
Alan, I'll let you come. Alan, I'll let you come in that one. I'm kind of the same as John. I've got that look as well. I always, regardless of how Celtic are playing, there's always that element of me when I go, Ryan, I've said this to you numerous of times, mate, even in your company in person, and I've said to you, we're going to get a moment here. And in making a moment, Celtic can always score 1 or 2 goals quickly because we've got the players to really, really hurt teams domestically. And no, Alan, I'll let you come in on that one.
I like to always think that it is possible, but yesterday we weren't threatening that goalkeeper whatsoever, really. It wasn't as if you could look back and say we had a number of kind of clear-cut chances. Obviously, I'm over the moon that we managed to kind of get the result and get the win. But it was like Ryan says at half time to me, it was like watching paint dry the first half. So it was very, very, very hard watch to say the least in comparison to how we played football. I don't know what William Scales is thinking. I think he's turned into kind of Michael Jordan. Thinks he's going to have a wee dribble with the football there, because that's scandalous for him to kind of put his arm up for that.
He get done for travelling yesterday, apparently.
Aye.
He was coasting.
Coasting, aye.
I wouldn't be.
He's lucky Mark Foringham wasn't there, by the way, because he hates stuff like that, doesn't he?
He looked as though he was putting his horn out for a bus.
Aye. He was looking for his indicator to let the boy know he was turning.
He didn't turn quick enough.
No.
So that was worrying. I think Brendan needs to have a wee word with William Scales about that, because there's no place for that, and kind of the way that we play, that we can't put up that kind of risk that you're throwing your arm out like that, because in modern day football with VAR, it's always going to be a penalty. I don't even know how the referee didn't call that as a penalty directly when you've got the linesman there as well. That was a bit kind of surprising to myself. I thought that was a stonewall penalty as soon as you seen it. But at the end of the day, it is a win. As I said previously at the start of the podcast, I think it's a great thing that the international break's upcoming. The last international break, we were wanting the football to keep going because we were playing that well. But this is maybe a time for the team, the players, just to kind of rejuvenate, just to kind of reset, get back to where we were playing, get the Dortmund kind of result out of their heads, etc., and make sure that we come back as strong as ever. As Ryan says earlier, and we spoke about the kind of embarrassment of Dortmund, I think there has to be a massive kind of rethink by the manager about the next game. For me,
Definitely.
For me, we can criticise the players, because we've gave them all the praise in the world. We've gave the manager the praise. We've gave the players the praise for this whole start of the season. So with that praise, there is an entitlement towards criticism.
Yeah.
And by all means, that Brendan Rodgers deserves to be massively criticised for that result last week and that performance, the way that it's set up. We cannot go toe-to-toe with these kind of teams. It says that. No. We need to find a different way to approach these games. We need to find a different way that's going to be successful, that we don't keep going in and getting these kind of hammers year on year. And he's coming out and saying, look, he's going to do it again because he'd rather that than get 15% possession. We can beat 3 or 4-0. Surely there's somewhere in between that. Surely there's some middle ground between us going and playing with football and us going 15%. There's got to be some middle ground. There's got to be a sensible approach to this. And for me, Brendan's ego's getting in the way. That's the criticism. We've given him all the praise in the world. But he needs to have a wee look when he's going into these European games, because we can all see it, that we can't go toe-to-toe with these teams. We can't. They've got better players than us. So we need to find a different approach to be successful in these kind of competitions, for me.
Absolutely.
Ryan, your take on John's point about there's always a moment in Celtic's games where you think, right, here we go, yeah, this is going to come, and obviously it did again yesterday.
I think the first goal, the time we got it was probably crucial. If we maybe left it another 5 minutes or so later, maybe a wee bit kind of squeaky bum time. You're always thinking you'll get a chance. You always think you'll get a moment, like you've said there. We always maybe get a moment, but whether or not you're then going to get a win, it's obviously a different case. But it just shows you, listen, see the thing about not playing well, see if you still win football games. That's a good team. Listen, we can talk about the European side and whatever else, but domestically, it's going to take us to play like that and basically for a full 90 minutes, the first half, for probably teams to beat us. That was probably a chance for Ross County to beat us yesterday. And we didn't really play well. That was the first half was like watching some of the games from last season, or other camp, and then we still won the game. So the rest of the league must be like, what do we need to do now to then beat Celtic? Because I can't see us playing. And I know Aberdeen have done well recently, but you can't see them playing that at Celtic Park. So that was a chance for Ross County to get a victory. Listen, fair play to Ross County. They set up well. They tried to frustrate us, but they didn't really have anything apart from the penalty. They had the odd wee sniff here and there, but they didn't really threaten us. It was all about us not playing well. Obviously, you've got to praise them for setting it up the way they did, but we just, like John says, we just couldn't pass the ball. It was just intensity, and like Alan says, it was just all over the place. And I agree with Alan as well. I agree with Alan as well. I think we've all agreed with it in terms of, we all love the manager, but he's got to change his ways in European football, because if he doesn't, we're going to keep getting humpings, and he's going to keep getting. I'm not going to say that he's going to be getting his CV or his reputation is going to get hammered, but people are going to start maybe going, well, if we get him by Europe, is your team going to get that? I know we've done well with Leicester, but they've got obviously the better players in the Premier League and everything else, and they can maybe set up differently. But the way I see it is, largely, I've said to you, JP and Alan in the chat, I've spoken to Barry Ban, other guys as well, on chats as well during the week, on the game. See, for me, right, see, he tried to say after the game that he tried to be balanced, attack and defend and kind of balance the game out, right? Now, we're playing football. Again, I'm not a manager, I'm not an expert. I'm just going on what I played in systems yourselves, lads, I've played football. See, if you play an attacking mindset with attacking players and attacking 4-3-3, you cannot put defensive into that system, because your mindset is, as soon as I get the ball, it's attack, 4-3-3, attack. Maybe change into a 5-4-1, but your mindset, as soon as I get the ball, it's gung ho. So
even your transition can't be defensive, Ryan, because of that moment.
He's basically telling us that my plan was nothing, because you cannot set up a flat 4-3-3 and then go and defend. It's attacking mindset, a 4-3. You can maybe tweak it to a defensive 4-3-3, right? Going to count. No, I want to touch on me tiny bit, John. I don't want you to this as well, right? I don't like talking about other mob, right? But see, when they go to Europe, right, they adapt. Certain games, they adapt. They change the formation. They defend. Obviously, football's about winning, right? No, I'm just going on previous exploits, right?
No. Something just came into my head there about that mob.
Football's about winning, right? And Stoke, obviously, teams scoring against you, right? What they did, maybe no in the last few games, but recently in that obviously run they done, they just don't lose the game. Don't lose the game. Set up, frustrate. Don't lose the game. Defend. We'll use Tavernier for a set piece, or we'll try and get a counter attack, and they go to it. Why can we not do that? Just because we've got attacking players, because of your mindset. We need to change.
They've got a realisation where they are, Ryan. We have got a manager that thinks we're beyond where we are, the level we are.
We can't
realise where they are. They deal with that.
We cannot go like that. We went to 4-3-3 against Madrid. I know we get sent off Atletico. We can't, like John agreed. We've all agreed here. We cannot go 4-3-3 and play our game, what we play in Scotland, against them. That's criminal to even think that.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different outcome. We keep doing the same thing again and again, and the same thing's happening.
Every season,
John, obviously touching on this season again, Because we'll need to speed you along. We've got another caller in waiting. Obviously, this season, have you seen a different Celtic from the lads mentioned earlier, the Celtic last season? I've seen some comments about the football we played last season wasn't as pretty. You know, yesterday could have been a game that Celtic last season might have dropped points in. But this season, they seem to be well coached, well drilled under a manager. And it's just as much as resilience and fight and desire and, you know, none of that leaves them. And I think that's what's more impressive, you know, because there will be games this season where we are going to have to roll up our sleeves and really fight. So do you think that's now a part that's been embedded in them now with the manager?
I think that like say the football they know they can play. I know they go in certain games and it doesn't work out, but you know, certain players go off, they take players off, maybe no at it, maybe no at the races, and then they bring other players on, and then maybe just tweak the system a wee bit, and then you see it all happening. All the passing all comes back again, and that's what for me. That's what happened yesterday. Do you know what I mean?
You think the subs then made a big difference?
That ball for Alistair Johnston for Kuhn.
Yeah,
I mean that was just sublime.
Tremendous.
Do you know what I mean? I mean,
tremendous.
See, we was down south. I mean, they'd be talking about that for days, you know. But because it's up here, nobody talks about it. Do you know what I mean? But that was a sublime pass, inch perfect. The wee man just took it in the inside, bingo, right in the bottom corner. That's the kind of talent that's there. Do you know what I mean? And you know, even what 89 minutes, 90 minutes, I've always got that Celtic are going. If they're one each, they're going to get a goal in 90 minutes. They're going to get a goal in 92 minutes, 93 minutes, whatever. That's the mindset I've got domestically. But for Europe, for me, they have to. I'm with Alan and I'm with Ryan on that one. Have to change. It's got to change in Europe. Otherwise, they're going to Atlanta and Italy next. And they won the Europa League Cup last season. They're a good outfit. Do you know what I mean? And we can't play the same. We can't play the same football. We have to change it.
Yeah, and I think it's most important as well. The players need to, you know, show a bit more confidence as well when they've got the ball instead of being like rabbits in the headlights as well. Because obviously that doesn't help either. But John, I want to say a massive thanks. Yeah, John, I want to say a massive thanks to yourself for coming on with us and giving us your points tonight, mate. So thank you.
Nice to speak to you guys. Hail.
Right, have a
Cheers,
good
John.
Later, mate. Thank you. Cheers to John for giving us his points tonight. I'm going to bring in my last caller of the evening, lads. It is indeed our one and only sponsor of the podcast, Mr. Alec Beveridge. Good evening, sir. How are we?
Evening, boys. Oh, good, man.
All right.
Good to see you, big man. Did you get that tap off Danny McGrain? I know he must be doing a fire sale now.
I got it off your dad. He gets it. He says about 2 times.
He knew you were coming on tonight.
He told me, he says, you wear that one, I'll wear this one.
He knew you were coming on tonight. Danny McGrain must have been really kind to him, saying that was his birthday not long ago there, so I'd imagine Danny must have got him out for his birthday. But good to see you, mate. How about you?
Good. All good, mate. Lads, did we win yesterday? The comments and
I know.
That's the level we'll set, Bev. That's the high standards we'll set. So that's not something to be down about. We've set the high standards that we know we're capable of that. So we need to.
Of course that, but it's just, everyone's just so negative, man. You look at the travelling we've done. See what your dad, what John said there. The travelling that we've done, Perth, Dortmund, Dingmo, and all that, and the results we've been getting there the past couple of years haven't been your 3, 4, 5 nothings. It's always been a tight, horrible park, horrible game. They just sit in front of you, and we need to try and work a way to break them down. And me yesterday, I knew, but I did have a feeling we would have get, because we've got the moments, as you say, JP, we always create chances. We always will create that wee opportunity to score the goals, and it happened again. But for me, the subs changed the game yesterday. They set up well, or the best in Ross County, you know what I mean? They came and had a go. But good teams good players, they eventually find their wee bits of brilliance to get their goals. And that's what we done yesterday. I think the international break coming up is a good wee breather for us to get us recharged, get us back into a group and go again. You know, we do get these wee bits through the season where, like last year, we dropped a load of points during December. And I think, as you say, JP, as well, that game last year, we'd have probably maybe lost points or get beat.
Yeah.
You know, so we need to put the brakes on a wee bit. You know, we've been fast flowing and fantastic the past wee while, but you're never ever going to be that every single week. You're never going to do it. It's never going to happen. As much as you want it to wish, it's never going to be that way. Especially Celtic fans, it's never going to happen that way. So we just need to take a wee breather, relax. We're 7 games, 21 points, semi-final coming up. We've already beat them across the water. You know, what more do we want?
No, I know, exactly. This is the thing as well. In about 20 odd days, we've played 3 or 4 different competitions. We've lost 1 game, and that was to the Champions League finalists of last season. Ryan, obviously, as Bev says as well, you know, there must be some Celtic fans watching us thinking to themselves, did Celtic win yesterday, or you know, was that just a myth? You know, I don't want to be too harsh on them because I know how football works, and we've been there. We know how it works. You know, you can't play pretty all the time, and there's got to be more times. So I'll prepare everybody right now that's watching us. Be prepared to sit through games like that this season again, because we're not going to be able to beat teams 4 and 5, 6-0 every single weekend. That's not how football works. And if it did, Carlsberg would be the best in the world, I think, if that was the case. But, as you know, what's more important to me, Ryan, is what happened yesterday. See the squad showing what they're worth. You know, we talk about guys that are on our bench and are they making an impact? I look at that as well, and I want to see them making an impact, like McCown, like Forrest. Guys that are coming off and adding to the game and creating chances for us to go and score. But to be down in the game, and then fair play to Brendan, he made the subs when he did. And he rolled the dice and it paid off. Again, Kyogo's movement. In a game where some players were off form, which, by the way, is allowed to happen in a season, you know, for what they've delivered us in terms of the last 10, 12 years. But I just think the amount of games we play as well, Ryan, you're always going to be coming up against games like this, and, you know, the calendar's really thick for us and really going rapidly. And like I says, mate, if you can't handle Celtic not playing well in one half, I think you're going to be in for a long season. And because, like I says, start yourself in, it's going to happen again.
Like I says at the top of the show, mate, these guys are the robots. They're human beings, and you're allowed a bad performance. Players are allowed a bad game or two. The difference of a bad game or two is if it goes into 3, 4, 5, then you go, listen, we sit the bench, maybe take a rest, listen, get your mind straight, you know what to do. Then you maybe going, right, this guy's maybe not right here, maybe change him, put him on the bench, put somebody else in. But like Engels, 1 bad game at how many he started so far. He's been brilliant. He's allowed a bad performance. Guys are allowed a bad performance. It's allowed to happen. It's football. They're not going to be fast, free, throwing, attacking, whipping balls in the box and 3 and 4 goals in 5 minutes. That's not going to happen. You're no divine right. No matter if you're Man City, Barcelona, or Celtic, East Stirling, East Kilbride, anybody, you're no divine right to win any football game. You need to do it on the park. Look at Man City and Fulham. Man City will beat Fulham 3-2. And Fulham could actually get a point at them, or a result if the boy up front, Adama Traore scored a few goals. So Man City are going to win every game 4-5, not on on paper. They've got one of the best teams in the world, if not the world. So listen, the main thing for me is football is about winning. We want nice football, we want good goals, we want all the entertainment, but entertainment value for the fans, you want your money, but see if you're not playing well, you're winning games. That's when, for me, if it continues after 4, 5, 6, 7 games and you're not playing well, right, we're going to get a defeat at some point here because we're not performing. But see the odd game or two you don't perform, then you still come back and win. How can you be critical of that, really? Like, you've won the game. You can be critical of certain bits in the first half, right? Got the better there, don't let it happen again, maybe tighten it up at half time. But he gave it 10 minutes, I think it was 7 minutes, 52 minutes or 55 minutes, he made the subs. He thought, nah, it's no changing, subs on. And they made a difference. That's what you've got to score for. So, like Bev says, we've won the game. You can maybe be nitpick and be critical of the first half, but you've won the game. You're not going to win every game 4-0. And like Bev says, well, Ross County, it's a tight park, it's 12 o'clock kick-off, travelling, all that is involved. And Engels, I agree with Francis, by the way, first 5 minutes, Engels just didn't look at himself. Maybe he just mentally, but he'd be no there on that day, I don't know. But
maybe he was unwell. It could have been unwell.
I don't know, but listen, we've won the game 2-1. 7 out of 7. 7 out of 7 unbeaten. I think it's a record, as well, some sort of record as well. So, listen, the Dortmund defeat's the only thing that's really dampers a wee bit of the European side. But overall, so far this season until the international break, take away the Dortmund result, there's nothing really to be worried about, lads, right now.
Alan?
I think it is the close proximity of the Dortmund performance and the Ross County performance. I think that's what people are maybe slightly apprehensive about. Not myself. I think that all the players they're only human beings, as I continue to say. They can have off days. They can kind of underperform. As Ryan says, I think spot on as well. If it's one game, right, we reset, we get the international break, and we go on for we would come back. But we noticed last year, and it's a lot worse than now. This is no comparison, but last year we had a number of kind of bad performances, and we were still winning. And I was saying quite vocally, I was saying this is going to the chickens are going to come home to roost here. This is going to set us up for a few defeats, and it happened in December. So let's just nip it in the bud with this kind of the last couple of performances. Nip it in the bud. International break. Let's reset. Let's get ourselves together and get to the place we were at the start of the season with the performances we were putting in. And for me, we'll be unstoppable in that kind of vein of form. And I'm not at a level just now that we can criticise the players too much because, as I say, they're human beings. They are going to have off days. They're not going to be perfect every day. They're just like us. We'll know sometimes I might get up in the morning yourselves and you'll be in a bad mood or you'll have something in your mind and you can't perform at your optimum. So for me, it's only 1 or 2 games. You can let that slide at the minute. We're still kind of being successful. Got 3 points yesterday, which is a massive bonus. But this team has still played magnificently well so far this season, and I'm massively happy with the standard of football we've been seeing since the start of the season.
Yeah, listen, I don't think the Celtic fans, mate, we can really ask for much more because, you know, it's all cliche. People are going to say, I want to see us perform well in Europe and improve in Europe. But domestically is your bread and butter. Because if you don't do domestically, then you don't get to Europe. It's that simple. That's the rules now. And you need to win your league in order to play in the big competition. And any Celtic fan now that tells me they would, you know, I was talking to Celtic fans even after the Dortmund game, and people were saying to me, I'd rather be winning in the Champions League. So does that mean you're quite willing to forfeit the league then? Because I think that's a different conversation entirely. And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, you can't have it both ways. You don't want to win the Champions League, but you don't want to. You want us to keep winning the league. So what is it then? So I think there's an element with your fans as well. I think some people need to be careful for what they wish for because, you know, as Celtic fans, mate, we have been remarkably and handsomely rewarded by the amount of trophies that our clubs won over the last period of time.
I think that's through being spoiled, JP, to be fair. Like Ryan's era, our era. It's completely different.
It's your fault, Ryan. It's your fault, Ryan.
Yeah,
you know Tom earlier. I don't know whether you're man da. The thing was, we all grew up through the 90s. Horrible time to be a Celtic fan. I think now we're spoiled. And I think through us, JP, this is us reaping the rewards of living through that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you just need to reset everything, you know, get back. I think everybody thought, because of the way we played in Dortmund, we were going to go up to Ross County, click into the way we were playing before and win 4 or 5-0. And it didn't happen. Right? And you weren't really going to expect that, to be fair. But we just need that you know, let's just keep the heat a wee bit. After the international break, we have got big games coming up. We've got Aberdeen in the league and in the cup. We've got Atalanta away. You know, it's big games, and they're the games you want to play in. For people to say they don't want to be in the Champions League, I'd rather be in the Champions. I don't want to get battered every time we play in the Champions League, but you want to be there.
Well, prior to Tuesday night, mate, we'd won our back-to-back last 2 games in the Champions League.
And the thing is, there's 8 games now. That's only our second game, and we're sitting with 3 points.
Yeah.
So's PSG, so's Bayern Munich, so's Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean?
And they spend loads of money way ahead of us.
It's just the manner of the performance and the result. I think everybody was expecting us probably to get beat half Dortmund, but it's that old cliche, getting in it every year, getting absolutely horse-one in the games. I think that's what's infuriating a lot of Celtic fans, that we can't adjust and adapt like other teams do.
It's no nice to get walloped like that. It's horrible. We spoke about it last week.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It really is. And I showed you the pictures that they done with me at the work. You know what I mean? It's when you can't the next day. It's no nice. And that was half a Motherwell fan, I know.
I was expecting you to be sitting with a Dortmund tap on the night when you came on.
What's that? My Dortmund
I was expecting you to be sitting with a Dortmund strip on the night when you came on.
My Riedler one. But no, it's, you know, let's get back. Let's take our time out international break, and let's recharge and reset and go again. That's it. It's the games are done with now. We're still sitting pretty. Aberdeen coming up, Atalanta, Cup semi-final. It's all still good. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
let's just take a wee breather.
Yeah, and that's it. Well, I take a breather most weekends and let you two go full tonto at it, man, and down to Domestos and David Arden, and I'm usually sitting back. I'm usually sitting back.
There's nothing to hide about that. Perfection is a good thing.
And you can't. And by the way,
towards it.
It's hard.
You're perfectionist. No, you're perfectionist, but you can't even get that right. But no, listen, Bev, honestly, thanks very much for taking the time with us tonight and coming on and cheering me up.
Just one wee thing before we go. Anybody that's not got their tickets for the Joe Miller live event, 19th October, click on the link, click on the boys on the socials, even come to me, whatever. Going to be a fantastic night. Be good to see everybody.
Yeah. There's a wee photo as well there. There it is. I was going to do it anyway, but cheers, Bev. Thanks very much.
You're welcome, mate. I'll save you a bit of time.
That's why you're a gaffer now, Bev.
Do you mind my daddy with me, Ryan?
Absolutely not.
Daddies.
You're only the daddy when you're sitting with your granddad in Tenerife. In fact, he was on the night. I seen Manny's comments earlier. Webby popped on the night. Oh, Grandad Webby. Brilliant, man. But listen, big man, thanks very much for coming on and having a chat with us again, mate.
Pleasure as always, lads. Catch you after, all right?
Bye-bye. Thank you to our sponsor, Mr. Alec Beveridge, for coming on. Thank you, Norrie. I wish his name
Norrie.
I wish his name was Norrie. How good would that be? Swear to God, man. Honestly.
Will it be good for him? Norrie.
Aye. But as I said, anybody that missed Alec there, anybody that's not got their tickets yet, the Celtic Unrestricted View are doing a live event. It's an interview with Joe Miller, and it is on Saturday the 19th of October. It's in the Morven Lounge in Glasgow. Tickets are on sale just now, but they are selling fast. I said when I was on Friday, we've sold more since Friday. So if you are waiting, thinking I'm going to get mine, but I'll do it near the time, don't be that person, by the way. Don't sit and think I'm going to get one, and because when they're gone, they're gone. There's no more. And I've seen this happen many a time, lads, when folk think, oh, I stay near the place, I'll get mine. And good man, Plunge, he's got free tickets already. There we go. Plunge is bringing his 2 teddies.
He's putting his feet up.
Rupert and Baloo for the Jungle Books coming with him.
I thought it was Fred and Barney.
Do you think they'll run up behind the motor?
Yabba dabba doo!
He'll come in looking for you, saying that.
He was going to say Fred and Rose.
He'll be looking for a bum. No, that's a different story, big man. Come on now. Saying that we're above the watershed now. You can fire a baby, whatever it is you're doing, but
no, we're that,
like I say, I'm trying to do an announcement, man, used to making comedy. Come on. Be professional for 2 minutes. How he's going to do Joe Miller if you can't do this?
I'll get a word done.
I know, that's what I'm fearful of, by the way. That's what I'm fearful of. Yes, so if anybody's not purchased a ticket, you can do from ourselves by paying into our PayPal, which is this here. RyanClifford9@aol.co.uk. Alternatively, if you don't have PayPal, you can message us. You can get us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Tinder.
Tinder if you want.
That's only Ryan's individual account you're talking about there. That's no. That's. Unfortunately, I'm not on it, lad. So if you're looking for me, you'll not get me on there. But aye, and you can also message us in the community. Well, you can send a comment to the community section of our YouTube channel as well. So as a live interview for your £10, you're getting the interview with Joe, a photo with Joe as well, and our sponsor, Mr. Alec Beveridge, will be a DJ throughout the night as well on the event. So yeah, Ryan, I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to it now. I'm just not looking forward to seeing what one of you is going to cut Joe off and how many times you'll do it in the night, right enough.
No, obviously on here it's a good laugh, and it's obviously we get a points across, but obviously when you speak to guests and guys who have played the game and stuff, it is, I know we have a laugh, a joke, but we're a bit more reserved, and it's the nights about Joe and getting Joe's point across. It's the same when we talk to the guys on here.
He probably knows, by the way, to be fair, John Shirley seems as if he knows Plunge's 2 bells more than what we do.
No, but when you speak to guys like that, you've got to let them talk. The night is all about obviously getting Joe's story in his career, and it'd be good for the fans to obviously find out about that as well. Also myself, I know a bit about Joe, but obviously I wasn't really involved in football, really born too much into football when Joe was playing. So it'd be good to get an idea of kind of hand in hand about obviously Joe's career and his story, and it's always good to hear from guys in the game, JP. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like JP said, you get your tickets on offers through social media or paying to the PayPal. That's £10. There will be raffles and the DJ and Bev. So hopefully see you there as well and have a good night as well.
Yeah, we do have a fantastic opportunity for one lucky fan to win a match worn and signed personally by Nicholas Kuhn jersey as well. So that's up for grabs on the night as well. What I will say as well, you can actually pop into the Morven and get your tickets there also, because the girls behind the bar have got tickets inside the bar, so you can pop along there as well if that's better for you. What I would say, if you're going to pay into that PayPal there, the RyanClifford9@aol.co.uk, please reference your name. Don't just pay a tenner, because me, Ryan and Alan will obviously buy a wee pint of lager and think it's somebody that's just donated good money to us for
I think it'll be something sort of time to half 10 show for the month, aye.
Leanne Campbell's actually, I'm not going to put it up, but Leanne Campbell's asking how they get to the bar without being chibbed. You just make your own way. It's just a nice bar like any other bar. You just make your own way.
Well, it's handy if you don't shave on the way to the bar.
Listen, I never even thought of that, Alan. That's why the three of us work together, because obviously if one doesn't think it, the other one does. And so it's handy if you're maybe if Celtic play Aberdeen that day as well. So what? But as Alan says, it's handy if you're not shaving before you come to the bar. And
the Marvin has got a name for decades ago, but we can all assure you that we're on there weekly basis, and it is a completely different atmosphere and different place than the names that it had in the past. It's nothing the same kind of stratosphere. So
no, it's a great pub and great pub and great people.
It's very well lit as well. It's really fresh and lovely and clean as well. So yeah, as I said, it's.
I know why it's clean, because the amount of defeats we've had in Europe, the best horses everywhere.
I thought it was. I thought it was Celtic were sharing out all the clean sheets I've had this season so far. I thought that's what it was.
One sheet
One sheet does plenty. I thought Casper Schmeichel. See, the week before we started on there, I actually thought Casper Schmeichel was up there getting his clean sheets in. But no, it's like Alan says, it's everybody's got a past, you know, cod in the pub. We've all got pasts. So just don't bring your razor with you that night, Leon, if you're coming along. And I'm pretty sure everything will be cool. And don't have any.
Brookside, you're not going to get murdered and buried under the patio, you know what I mean?
I know, exactly. It's. I don't even know what to say after that, honestly. Brookside, what a memory that is. Superb. Jimmy, I could just picture Jimmy Cocktail standing outside the shop waiting on you.
Man, Trevor Jordas, wasn't it?
Aye, that's it, man. Don't worry about it. There'll nobody be Sinbad the window cleaner walking about the pub either. There'll nobody up there of that description. But no, listen, Joe Miller, obviously as well. I'm really looking forward to speaking to Joe. I remember Joe, I was only a young boy right enough, and when Joe played with Celtic, obviously I remember him at Aberdeen as well. So Ryan, I know he's before your time, so you'll just be like a Churchill dog that night, just nodding at me and Alan, talking to him.
Aye, Joe. Aye, Joe. Aye, Joe.
Aye, Joe. But no, lads, I think that's all we've got time for. What I will say also, folks, we'll be back on Wednesday, probably Wednesday morning. Keep an eye on the socials and the community section of the channel. We'll be back on Wednesday morning. We're going to do a wee Q&A for you guys, if you can join us, if you are available. I think it's been overdue, and we'll get some questions. Jerry, I seen your question there about Brendan and Atalanta, and I know a lot of Celtic fans are anxious, mate, so you should keep that. What we'll do is I'll even take note of that, and we'll use that on Wednesday, mate. And we can... Jerry Burns, he left a comment, lads. I think it's a good question. It could be good for Q&A. So what I'll do is I'll keep a hold of that, Jerry. And we'll even start with that. That's fine. That's no problem. But anybody else, get your questions in. Send them on the community. Send them in through social media. Anybody want to put your questions over, you can make yourself available to do so. But cheers for taking the time with us on a Monday evening. I know a lot of folk probably have Monday blues. Obviously, I've been off all weekend, back at work, etc. Having to come on and listen to jokes about Brookside and Plunge bring these two teddy bears to the live event and stuff. And
Fred and Barney.
Sheena coming with her jam jar with the teddies and that, know what I mean, with John Shirley. Aye, above all else, take care, hail, and we'll see you all again.
Hail.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.